Who are you? Really?
Really?
We are awesome. How's everybody doing?
Doing good, thank you.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. It's just that, like, I gotta work again, and it's in like 7 or 8 hours. So yeah, don't really feel like doing that. But otherwise, doing good. Sorry.
Well, we have Roger here to help alleviate our bacons. Hello, Demon Orbic. Hello,
Hey,
Tori.
Hey, Tori.
Hello, Al.
What's Al
Tori.
here?
I don't know, Roger seems to
And
raise my stress levels for some reason.
it's like, what the fuck are you thinking?
What,
You know, as far as
you
Roger
believe in
goes. But
vaping?
let's. I don't actually believe he's thinking. I believe he's behaving like a 5-year-old child with pareidolia.
Okay, my claim is that I have stuff's DNA tested, and they're giants, and here's one of them right here, a fingertip. Still has a fingerprints and a fingernail.
Anyway,
Excuse you?
you're asking him it's straight. It's that.
I had to break this off so I could get down into the blood, and I did get some, and it was DNA tested, and it's human. And here's another one. It's
So it's not a
I'm
giant.
surprised you breathed all over it. Yeah, and he breathed all over it here and there.
smaller, but still 4 feet wide. This hand, it's a left hand, and if you look at the details, you can figure it out. I'm going to be showing you details in a minute anyway.
It's not a giant.
And
Humans do not get that big. Period.
They
It
can't.
And it didn't look like a hand.
It would have shown as human-like, maybe, but not as human. Dumbass. Hey,
Maybe
dude.
someone pissed on the rock, and this is where he's getting the fucking DNA from.
He handled the rock.
I wouldn't.
He handled the rock with his
wouldn't
bare
doubt it.
hand. Maybe even coughed on it.
I bet you if I handled the rat and extracted it, I would know how not to get my DNA all over it. But that's just me.
and this is the fingerprints. Fingerprints were still on that huge, gigantic. My thumb is as wide as one fingerprint ridge.
Well, that's a fingerprint, Ray Johnny. The people diagram, and that's just breaking patterns of the graph.
You know what I would like to see if, like, he had that DNA tested and then also have his DNA tested and compare to it. Pretty sure you get a 99%.
I think. You mean, or maybe like a 1 in 14 billion chance that it's not him?
How is he getting these data? Is he sending these samples off to labs and things like that?
If you pay for
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Hey, Ivy.
Super expensive.
Exactly. Hi, Ivy.
Ivy, you're starting to sound like a flat earther.
Julian as well. Hi, Julian.
Oh, the time zones are like something. Back in America, this is the afternoon, and it's basically 10 o'clock where I am right now.
Those two little dots right there are the sweat pores. And it was excellent quality DNA. Now, a guy
Oh,
was...
I'm gonna keep my food in my mouth. Stop making me laugh.
Yeah, I've been eating while listening to Roger speak as a recipe for getting food off of your computer.
Yes.
laughing at people saying, oh, how could these idiots think these were steps? You see these people are standing, he says, these were terraces where they were growing things. I said, well, that's not a bad thought. But they had stairways here, where you see these people walking these stairways? Why would they have stairways, little ones, if these were steps? That was the guy's
Oh,
That doesn't make sense.
that's where the inject. That's actually all those little bitty things that will fight junk. And those are people. That's like a walk to some temple.
So they got these tiny fucking well, surely they'd be bigger, they'd be wider, the steps, if they were steps. I think it's just I don't know, fucking
Yeah,
logic.
if you look at like if they were real steps, they would have been like deeper, a bigger surface to stand on.
Yeah,
because compared to regular stairs, that's a stair you cannot walk up.
Yeah, they're really narrow relative to the height. It would be uncomfortable to do so.
Yeah,
so they weren't but made for giants.
Yeah, you'd have to tippy toe up the stairs.
That's horrible. And you'll fall on your ass.
Well, he was being kind of nasty. That's all right, because I like a challenge, and he put up a good argument. But here's the key: they were both here at the same time. You see this? The little people helping this big guy out. That's just one of them.
It's a tread.
Oh, come on, Rex.
They were.
I'm thinking we need to send him instructional videos on how to screen record. Holy motherfucker.
Yeah, it wouldn't turn the quality. It would impact the quality of the joke, and we could laugh better. I drinks.
The jinx.
All over these things about the giants working with the little people. Look, this guy's cleaning his feet.
And is it a religious depiction of some guy with some god that never existed?
No, and
It has to be.
Also, I believe, like in Egypt, if you were depicted, they didn't depict you as the size you were relative to other things, but as how important you are. So a pharaoh would always be depicted bigger than regular people.
You know what? That makes very good sense. And a good explanation. So that's either a pharaoh or a god, and it has no relation to Lucino.
All right, so that, to me, explains the little steps and the big steps. And this is down in Pointe Tombo or something like it. There's a name.
In fact, we have stories about giants. May have had them back in those days as well, and may have depicted a fictional story.
You know what's interesting about the story of Goliath? It only takes one stone to bring him down. And towards the end of people's life, when they have acromegaly, they usually go down because of all the pressure that the tumor is putting on the brain. And in a little stone, if that happened, could have been the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. In the description of the size of Goliath would be, I think, pushing the limit of acromegaly, but not exactly impossible. But again, Bible mix of truth, dosage, embellishment, and well, I guess outright lies would be considered bullshit. And
they were killing and trying to kill and get rid of the giants. They were cutting their guts out. A group of natives.
And she didn't give us a close-up of that. Come on. That thing probably looks like an alien, too.
Natives in the Central Highlands of Mexico capturing and putting to death a giant from the Vaticano Codex.
Oh, sure. Citation needed.
And I know so, too. I mean, look at the scale between the giant, right? And is the people, and but then people were like force-lit toy. So the giant roughly twice the height, maybe 2.2 times. So that wouldn't be all for acromegaly either.
They showed all kinds of pictures of things that people just laughed at. Oh, they were just silly. No, I don't think so. I do not think so.
Yeah, also,
Here it is. Excellent quality.
also like back in those days, like if somebody would be my size, I would be considered a giant.
From the 30s.
Yeah, for those who don't know, when I met Brainless towered over me.
Yeah, he's 6 foot up.
I
But,
mean, just towered over me.
6-inch tip, and from the long. I showed you the long, and it's flat kind of pancake because it died in a great flood. So did this giant finger
It died in a great flood. Oh, come on,
tip
Mike.
from a giant creature, which was human. Now, don't forget, I took the sample out, but I
like the duck face he has on the right. I get that he sees a duck face because I also see a duck face in it. The difference is, I know it's not a real duck face, but that finger. Sorry, your pareidolia is on hyperdrive or whatever. But hey, stop.
They stop.
How you doing? Yeah, I mean, maybe it might look like a fingernail, but the portions are all in it. It'd have to be thinner. And then it would only be like a fingernail.
I went in and actually went down inside, and I'll show you how I did it. All right, my tests were PCR DNA tests.
Oh, the most sensitive DNA test you can possibly purchase.
Oh, he did the whole thing himself. Ooh.
Oh, so he must have some sort of test lab centrifuge and all that, and microscopes and things like that. He must have all
I
that.
think he hired a lab. But PCR is not something that can be taken lightweight because it takes the least little bit of DNA and just multiplies it trillions of times. It's not, it's basically gonna, if there's DNA there, it's gonna pick it up even if you put it in.
And what does PCR mean? They're short chains of sequences that attach to the stuff that is in the sample. And if they match, you got a match. And so they're used in DNA sequencing, chain reaction, other molecular biological techniques. And how do they work? How do DNA tests work? All right. They have a target sequence. The DNA sequence to be amplified is known as the target sequence. So they put in a primer. The primer is designed to be complementary.
Pagan?
I've seen a whole video about how that worked, how they figured this out. That's actually quite interesting stuff. The whole DNA testing thing.
I mean, that's why I'm basically letting him explain. Because, like, Roger can mix his bullshit in with, like, when he's reading stuff like this, if he just pay attention to what he's reading and not how he's trying to explain it, it's accurate until he tries to put his own spin on it.
To the target sequence. So if it finds the target sequence, then it amplifies it. If it's not there, it's not there. But mine was human mitochondrial DNA, Homo sapien, and they were excellent quality. So what I was doing, I was looking through the tests today. Because, I forget things, and I was looking through, and these are the primers used.
You forget things. You need to know shit before you can fucking forget it, Roger.
Oh. He's just boundless fun now.
The primers are what attaches. So it was excellent quality. So the attachment was very complete, 80 to 100 base pairs. All right.
What does that say? That you can't even see it? That the DNA is pretty much like it was left there yesterday. It means you contaminated the goddamn thing. If you're pulling stuff out of the ground that's supposedly hundreds or thousands of years old, and you would expect some degradation.
DNA sequenced at approximately 80 to 100 base pairs. DNA sequence generated for the 36-inch tip and the lung. Those were the two best. The other one was more of a mud fossil, very highly transitioned. The other two were like almost raw blood, and they actually did say that, not raw blood, but here's the different sequences and so forth, and the results of the tests.
Do realize the lab that he used that he sent it to probably does a lot of DNA work for law enforcement, which he took time away from.
Yeah, he was being inconsistent.
He wasted time, like
inconsiderate.
Of course, he paid for it. I don't care about that, but he took away precious time, like for his stupidity. Like and like I don't think he's a bad person, but I do think he's delusional, and like his family should protect him from himself and just take away his computers.
Roger, you're a danger to yourself, mate.
Like,
yeah, he's gonna poke what's left of his brain out with the turkey feather.
well,
If he doesn't destroy the screen.
It's under his screen, and like his whole channel is called that. Not Fossil University.
And up here it says somewhere it was excellent quality.
I just thought of something. We should go back through a lot of his clack where he's referencing different samples from different rocks and try to compare the visual profile of the DNA and see if it matches between two different samples. And I bet you it does because it's contaminating.
It's probably all the same DNA. Commander, give me a second. I gotta show. I just found another video. I believe it's also from the Mod Fossil Mister.
Hello, friends. Roger from Mud Fossil University here, and as you can see, I have an interesting stone. I believe it's a vertebrae from an old creature. I'm going to show you just how I get the blood from these objects.
Can you turn the volume up?
No, it's maxed.
Well, it shouldn't hold it too long. My hand starts to hurt quite a bit. And then get the sample. I don't know if you can see that, but there's blood on the end. So it's quite simple to see that when you drill into these rocks, you get blood from them. And it proves that.
That's
His hand clean. Did he fucking drill into his hand?
Right, my friends.
Yes.
Obviously,
yes.
it's our
Oh, yes,
amazing,
that is so good.
amazing trolley person.
Oh, that is
Well-
so good.
Yes.
It was a very detailed text. Hold on, let me find it. All right, this lung, I had DNA tested. I have it in my hand right now. This is when I first took it out of the ground, and I found blood in this one, actually blood coming out. And this one here was just completely red, and they were both in the Great Flood. Now this one turned to almost entirely silicates. I have it here, and I can see the spurlock in extreme detail. Absolutely unbelievable.
And I turned into silicates. I mean, they just brain it, right?
because it's stripped right down to the alveoli. Look at, see way down in here? I'm going to show this in the microscope really well. All of these little blood spots, well, not all of them, but a lot of them, had blood coming right out, and there's the blood. Came right out of them. Now, this one here, I decided to get DNA tested, and this is the one right here.
That doesn't look like the same rock.
No.
No.
This is when it first came out of,
And
I
those
forget
blood
if I even,
spots are probably bits of iron or something in it that turned red, or something else that oxidized.
And in that, it's like a pink quartz granite. And purple.
Hey, Peps.
I hope Mythic gets up, and this is around the time she gets up in the lion.
I know, I'm sure I washed it and stuff. It's just saturated with red blood. That's about as red blood as you can get. So I drilled down inside, just so that I wasn't swiping it off the surface. And took a sample out of there and sent it off, and he said it was excellent quality. He said it was like blood. I mean, look at it.
And so we know Roger cut himself when he was taking a sample.
Well, he was drilling
but also,
into
like,
a fucking scone.
No, but also
It was a
look
scone, wasn't
at. Yeah, but look how much he's touching that rock. That rock is covered in his DNA. I do hope they have him pay extra because it's such a stupid thing that he's trying to get done. Fuck's sake. Let those people do real work.
I mean, yeah, and it's kind of like really silly for what he's doing.
When it came out of there, it looked just identical to blood. That's all I can tell you. And so did the other one from this one and the 36-inch fingertip. That's what I get, 36 inch.
I mean, there's some irony in this.
36 is fingertip.
That, you know, that's saying you can't get blood from a stone. Yet Roger can. I don't. I think maybe that's what the premise he's working on.
I mean, just think about it. Finish what you're gonna say. I think he's an speculator.
No, like the for everything he mentions what size they are. Maybe like do all those sizes fit with like one body, or would you get a very distorted body shape, but like giant nails and small feet? And because like,
well, I mean, right, if he was let's say the fingertip was basically my my fingertip is about an inch. So I'm just scaling from my height. The giant would be over 20 100 feet, close to 2,500 feet.
But how big would the feet be?
Wait, is then John, I can bring it back to. Oh, well, no, only 215 feet. Excuse me.
No, but like, how big would your feet be? One of your feet. How big would it be? Would it be the same as what he's claiming in his video that the foot was that he had? Like, I'm pretty sure that
my foot would actually be significantly bigger than what he thought the foot was. So these giants either don't exist or they're not proportioned the way humans are.
Or
but of
one
course,
was a
in
child.
foot size varies wildly.
It could be a child. That's probably what he's going to say.
inch fingertip. And it came out, that was, well, let me show you. All right, remember I told you one of them didn't come all that good. That was from this hand. That's 4 feet wide up here. It's about 3 feet wide down here.
It's a rock, Roger.
So I'm
The
gonna
width of
punch the
your
man.
hand? 4 feet width of your fucking hand? That's big.
Yeah. And that hand really wouldn't be proportional to human hand either, because like if my fingertip was like if you scaled it up and it was 36 inches long, then like a 4 foot wide hand would be as wide as the fingertip, and that doesn't work.
It's a left human hand. It was human, but it wasn't as good a quality as the other ones. It was a little fainter on the aerogel or whatever they do.
Wait, now
That's the tendon.
It was a giant.
Yeah, when is a giant being
Yeah,
used?
you said it was
I would have thought a
Nymph.
giant was a totally different species altogether.
unless they were half human and half Nephilim. Down. And I mean that idea was dumb, but they had to throw it out there.
Runs right down from the palm, the pad right here. This is all padding. And that's the tendon that runs down. Your thumb goes off this way. Your small finger goes right off this direction. This is broken off right about here.
Cut it in half, but you don't see any bones.
Yeah, I know.
Everything's missing from about here now. Now, I found fingertips, knuckles, all kinds of stuff. What I want you to look at here, first of all, you can see down here, there's a bone.
That feather is a turkey feather. But
That's a
yeah, if it wasn't a turkey feather, definitely looks like it came from the national flag. But we know it's a turkey feather because he actually identified it as one. So the Nephilim were half human and half angel.
Okay, Commander.
To begin with.
There's a mistake in your logic there. You say it's a turkey feather because he says it's a turkey feather.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah,
have the
you're
best
right.
background in identifying things. Sorry, I have to do that one.
I'd say it looks like a turkey feather too.
Boo
So
Mountain. He said
we-
Boo
we
Mountain
have
was
to-
real boots.
yeah, we can't trust him. We're gonna have to identify it ourselves.
Maybe we need to do a DNA test.
Yeah, Franklin wanted the turkey to be our national bird, and right now with Trump as president, that wouldn't be too far.
Okay,
Needless.
you gotta call out Jinx, because don't fucking insult turkeys like that.
Down here, same thing you have in your own hand. That cleave is where you're right in here. All right, that's the tendon that runs down. If you lay your hand back, you have the same thing. You can't miss it. Now,
That looks like some kind of fusion between two different kinds of rocks. It actually doesn't, and that what he saw was in like a clap that looks like a gouge.
It looks like a sedimentary
Looks
rock.
nothing like human.
And yeah, sorry, like watching him
Yeah.
like just brings the biggest silly out of me. Like I just cannot fathom how stupid he is, or delusional, I should say, because I don't think he's stupid. I think he's delusional.
I also think he is like has a high off so many people paying attention to what he has to say, and he hasn't realized that maybe 70% of the people who watch him are just laughing at him. Maybe the 10% of trolls that egg him on, and the rest of true believers.
What I
Yeah.
want to show you that's really cool is this silver stuff is peeling off. It's like somebody painted on her. Well, this is what's called grip skin. You see it just peeling right off? I'm sure you can see there. You see how it's just peeling off a different color?
No, that's a sedimentary rock and a different other kind of rock. They both could be sedimentary. I'm not an expert, but there's one kind of rock attached to another kind.
Oh, but can you
Yeah,
define
we
the
shouldn't
kind?
let him out of the basement. Not at that resolution.
No, but like what's the kind? And does one kind give birth to another? Oh, sorry, that's the other stupid. I'm mixing up my stupids.
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure Roger wouldn't fall for that. It's not for
This
him.
is fleshy stuff. And, you know, I found this 10 years ago. Well, at least not, probably 50, well, I don't know, 10, 12, I don't know. Everything's a blur now. But I have knuckles and fingers and all that, and it didn't come out as good as the rest. So this was on the test, and it you know, 4 foot wide hand. It's not tiny, but it's not big. You say, oh, Roger, 4 foot wide hand.
Yeah, 4 foot wide hand. It's not tiny, but it's not big. Oh, wait, we're dealing with someone who thinks there's continent-sized dragons. Never mind.
Yeah, that's pretty big. So well, also is a 3 foot long fingertip. From the very end of this to here, approximately 3 feet long. You see this? A foot, 2 feet, 2.5 feet. So about 2.5 feet wide, and it's longer. So I think I had to measure 3 feet. I called it a 36-inch tip. This is the fingernail.
Is it
See how perfect that?
Okay, Commander, can you pause for a second? Like,
Yeah.
you know, right now it's clear. I'm tall, but like my hand is like it's about. I'm taking it wide, like then it's like 10 centimeters in width. I converted the 4 foot. That is because he said it was 4 foot wide. That is
Yeah.
121 centimeters. So that is more than 12 times my hand size. Can you imagine? 12
That's just
times
the
the size of
fingertip,
your
though.
hand.
and why hasn't
Well, I
anyone
mean,
asked Roger the fucking, you know, the simplest fucking question that's on everyone's fucking lips? If that's a fingertip, Roger, where's the fucking rest of the giant, you prick?
yeah, you think it would have been left there, especially if the fleshy finger was there. Maybe rest of it would have also fossilized. Brainless, I figured out that if you scale if you scaled it to my proportions, the bloody giant would be 213 feet high.
There's a little bit eroded here. This little thing here is where your bone rocks against the next bone. That's the 2 blood vessels I showed you, or I'm sure I showed you, coming into the fingertip. Now, to get blood out of it, I couldn't get it. I couldn't find any place where I could find any blood, and that's typical of fingers. They're almost like rubber gloves. So I smashed this off. I could see the crease of the fingernail. So I figured, well, if I just whack it, it'll make a chip something out of there, which it did. It just came off just like a scab. And I'll show you that in a second. And it had a fingerprint And that opened it up to me to have just raw blood in there, literally like raw blood. And that came out excellent quality DNA. So, can I show you the fingerprints? Yes. Remember this piece? It only came about maybe this thick. And it was just the guy's skin right around his fingertip. And that's exactly where your fingerprints start, right up here. I'm going to show you the start of the fingerprints. Here they are right here. That's his fingerprints. Those are sweat pores. See the boom? Sweat pore, sweat pore. The fingernail was right up here. All the way around.
Anyone, there's got a picture of his fingerprint over here, and then he's got that broken rack over here. It's checking that doesn't even look the same, doesn't it?
And this is what grip skin is. They call it keratinized, whatever. I call it grip skin. It's the outside skin of your fingers and your toes and your, palms of your hand. All the stuff I showed you peeling off, that's this. It peels off just like that. But underneath, it is saturated with blood. So I took the blood out and sent it off. Obviously, I didn't send him a 3-foot-long fingertip. So he said he'll stand behind the test. But you have to understand, I was the one that extracted the DNA or the samples.
Again, Roger, where's the fucking rest of this giant, you prick?
It's got to be over 200 feet tall.
Hey, Dave.
If he sees like a fucking a big fucking stone rock, that's Boom Mountain all of a sudden, or Penis Canyon and all that shit. Roger's a fucking Roger.
Flat Mountain.
Flat Mountain, yeah.
A twat mountain.
Piss flat mountain.
Pussy mountain.
And if anyone wants to come in, they're perfectly welcome. The link is in the private area of the Discord. You don't have to, but if you want to, you're welcome.
Yeah, the continental sized fucking dragon. That was about me. This is a real dragon, he says. Look, in Google Earth and fucking annoying fucking DNA labs, that's his whole fucking life.
Oh, no. And annoying scientists at universities.
Yeah, but they sort of blank him now, don't they? They've had enough of them.
Doesn't he have a restraining order?
Yeah, they called him a tinfoil hat man and got a restraining order at MIT. They blocked him at Fermi Labs. It takes a lot to get blocked by Fermi Labs. You either have to be a royal nuisance or be sending their...
He did the extraction of the DNA from the samples I sent to him. I don't want to confuse that whatsoever. I want you to understand, if I contaminated it, if I faked it, that's me.
Yes,
it was you. Oh.
Wait. If we saw the... Yeah, if we saw the our DNA profile, right, from one sample and then another sample, I bet it would match. And if we took a DNA sample from him and looked at it, I would
Not Tom. Tom did a fabulous job, and he was quite certain this was modern DNA, and it was human. It was not contaminated.
DNA,
it was dense.
not from an ancient creature.
And you can see
Because modern DNA, not from an ancient creature.
what it is. You'd be an idiot to say that's not what it is. It is what it is.
No, Roger, it's the exact opposite.
And it's going to be retested. I have it here. I have this stuff here. So it's not like I can't retest it. It's going to be retested.
Hey, Tanko.
Hi there.
Oh, Maya's there. Hi, Maya.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta make both Tank Girl
Nobody
and
will do it. I just got a thing from a friend of mine who wanted to see if Helix would do some DNA work for him, and he said he didn't do that type of stuff that he asked about. So, which was to just identify: is there any sequences here that match humans from these things that don't look like human? They're almost human. It's got the tibia and a fibia and all that stuff. It's like a foot, but only it's different. It's got a built-in sole. It's got springs instead of bones. I'd like to know.
Roger.
How is that a foot?
Are there no Cleo, and if it's a flat, right? Why isn't it to the scale of all the other fucking junk?
Yeah, but also, like, that's not the shape of a foot. And it had springs instead of bones. Did he just say that?
Yeah, springs.
Yeah, I think so. It
The
has
robot.
legs.
Also, Pet Dragon, while doing yard work, please keep your eye out for some mod fossils. You might have some brilliant discoveries, just like Roger over here. Sorry.
He's very, very
You
special.
know, I don't know.
I cannot.
It's just for my own. I guess it doesn't matter. This stuff is just crazy. There was crazy stuff here. Absolutely crazy stuff. Giant things. And I mean, I show it over and over. My giant hair follicle around here somewhere.
And that foot is
That's a
about
giant hair follicle.
If you say so.
For about 6.
That's a fucking pebble.
Well, that's what he says. I know. So let me just estimate that that's about 2.5 inches wide and maybe about that's maybe 1.5 inches wide and 2 inches long. So your average human hair is roughly 4,000ths of an inch. That's 0.000. So now we're talking even bigger giants.
2-inch hair follicle.
Yeah, that's his pet.
That's a pretty good sized guy.
We talked about
All right, I think I'm gonna.
Oh.
And yeah, I gotta break out my hand-me-down calculator. Right? So I'll play him and then I'll tell you how fucking tall the and this is gonna be an approximation, but how tall the thing would be if it was.
Close it up for today, but next time we're going to look at this lung in a microscope, and I'll show you the spur lock right down here. It's absolutely fabulously perfect because it's skinned all the way down to as deep down to the tissue as you can get. And there's that tube that runs down. There's 2 tubes in here. I can show it to you in a microscope. Now, we're going to look at the dragon scale in the microscope and see the blood.
Roger.
It's a dragon scale. Oh my goodness gracious.
Roger is an atomic bullshit merchant. Well, what is it? You know, he pointed out that this whole mountain range was a dragon, yeah?
Yeah.
Basically the width of fucking Asia. and that's a dragon scale. Look at the fucking size of it. It's not as big as the human fucking fingertip. Where's the rest of the dragon, Roger?
Well, it had very many scales, not just a few.
But I mean, besides everything, it would just be astronomical. I mean, there wouldn't be enough air for it to breathe at its height. So the numbers I'm getting, I'm not even going to bother. And let's just say airplanes would. I have no. Like, if that was a hair follicle, and you take the average size of a human hair, you kind of would guess it. Airplanes, you to spy planes, don't fly high enough to reach the hair.
Blood from here.
Good
Blood
night,
over there.
Ivy. Blah, blah, blah.
And this stuff here is the glue. You see that? That's the glue that glued it. I'm sure that's Slurpee. Slurpee means small, leucine-rich proteins. Something had to make.
It's a Slurpee.
I'm pretty sure Slurpee is a drink, right?
Yeah, it's from 7-Eleven from the Rapidos in America. I think you do have them here. I think the Ices or Slurpees are, but I think specifically Slurpee is a trademark for 7-Eleven.
Make it so that it could slide around, but it was still anchored, and I think that's the goo. And this tab, right there, you see that little tab? That locked it in.
I want a Slurpee too. And you know, one thing about Europe that I don't like is as far as soda fountains, and they are sparse as, you know what? And you only get 20-ounce drinks.
Somehow, and it could slide back and forth along with the other ones in this groove. It's the only one I've got, so I don't know how to hook together, but it's very, very obvious that this was built just the way it's built here for a specific purpose. And it has that little ridge in there to hold itself down.
Oh my god.
Like a fucking roof tile.
Oh my
A
god.
drag in the scale, everybody.
Fucking hell. I'm not even gonna do a shot. I'm just gonna have a drink of vodka. Like, fuck's sake, a shot ain't enough for this shit.
You don't want to have a fucking a drinking game with Roger. Every time he says fucking something stupid, you take a shot, because within the end of one video, you would have passed the kidney.
No. If you would want to do that game, every time he says something stupid, you need an IV, because you'd be pumping alcohol into your body constantly.
Yeah, and Monkey couldn't handle it. After 2 straight beers, you know, like getting actual strong beers, not candies. I had the difficulty operating my camera film. So maybe Monkey could do it. I don't think anyone on panel could handle that level of drinking.
I could. Well, I'll give up drinking now anyway. And you started drinking because of me, so yeah, it's something
fair trade,
gone wrong
right?
there.
No, I do think Commander can probably manage how much they drink, but I think loosening up is good for the Commander.
Absolutely, yeah.
I truly think.
You see, I don't think that's fell off.
You are correct. And thus far, I'm actually only had it alcohol in Europe. No, I think once or twice on strange at home. But most of the alcohol and drinking is actually in Europe.
As long as it's in moderation, it's actually good for your health, apparently.
No, I can't actually put enough gal. 2 beers, and I can't operate my camera phone, and Malky's got to make sure that I make it to the train station. That's basically 4 sandwiches, so I am nowhere near the tolerance necessary to get hooked.
There by accident. I think it's supposed to be there so that it's hooked into the next, and it won't just flop out of there. There's a hook. You see? And it's the Slurpee, so it can slide back and forth. And there's the blood coming in, and the blood going on.
And there's no actual biological agreement for Slurpee. Knock it up. I don't think that there is. Oh, this phone has so much on it.
And also, Tango, I gotta correct you. Like, 5. It's not 5:30 somewhere, because I believe the time zones all go by whole hours. Maybe a few that are half hours, but
Adelaide is one of them. Adelaide is slightly off by something.
hey,
I don't know why, but that's the way it went.
we already knew that they were slightly off. My apologies. I'm being very stupid. I get more giggly from watching Roger than from drinking.
Roger's fucked up.
This is so fucking stupid.
Just as I thought, there's no such thing as a Slurpee. Google is giving you nothing for a Slurpee is born of human inanimate.
Or vice versa. So we'll look at that and see if there's anything else we can see. And I got so many things we can look at in the microscope. Very cool stuff. Like this little thing here. That's an artery. I didn't put that in there. Here's one over right there.
An artery. Just
Oh my god. Like,
It couldn't be just the hole, right? It has to be an artery.
This is all
most definitely.
really heavy duty rind around it. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, it's heavy duty.
it looks like quartz. Well, not a quartz.
Rind.
Yeah,
Looks like a geo, you mean? A gem. Or
Yeah.
a kind of.
Not quite sure. But it's got that heavy duty fabric on there. That fabric means this thing had to do some movement. It's a lot of smushing around, or I don't know.
No, you
There's a
don't
lot
know.
to.
Simple as that. You don't know.
It might actually be some kind of fossil, but it's not a mud fossil. But I think it's like some sort of agate or something in
Burn. But whenever you see this type of fascia, that means that thing was stretching and coming back, stretching and coming back. Your heart, your
or it can be in forest rot.
lungs, and some types of cancers are like grouped into certain types of tissues. That maybe there's a certain type of cancer that invades the rubbery tissues. I'm sure there is.
Oh.
So does anyone know what rubbery tissues are? Because like skin is rubbery, muscles are rubbery. Virtually every soft tissue is rubbery. So what makes it different? What's rubbery tissue?
And they have some type of chemistry similarity in the rubbery tissues. And I would say it's because they're loose junctions. And because they're supposed to do this all the time, boom, boom, boom. And then they have to be glued together so they can do this but not come apart. If they're doing this and somebody comes around that doesn't supposed to be there, zip. So you have to be almost in an isolation ward so that you don't get invaded. And it's got to.
It's nothing.
You have to be in an isolation ward not to be invaded by the rock cancer.
Have something to do with the bacteria not creating the enzymes, because the enzymes make the chemistry. If this guy over here doesn't have it and you have that disease, well, I bet you, I'm almost certain you're going to find out his bacteria and your bacteria do not match. and there's going to be one thing that the people that have this kind of invasion and this kind of floppy tissue, they'll probably mostly all have the same issue with their bacteria. And if you can fix that bacteria, I think you can fix the disease.
So
And how did we get to that with rocks?
well, he was talking about cancer, wasn't he? So, you know, Rogers basically just cured cancer as well. As finding
Yeah.
that 3-foot fucking
Yeah.
fingertip.
Oh, God. Roger has a rubbery brain, perhaps. A bit, territorial also.
I really do. This is the new research. It's time to pay attention to this. And it
Near that, Trump. I bet you Trump's going to give him a grant for this kind of research because this is just the kind of top quality research that he would be looking for. And I'm pretty sure Roger would tell him whatever the fuck he wanted to hear.
Well, if RFK doesn't get in, who actually wants, well, that's one thing that Trump's already done. He's cancelled fucking cancer research. He'd have fucking Roger in.
I
Roger's,
know.
he'll cure it using Reiki rocks
But why did he cancel that?
because it costs too much.
Okay,
And
and
Trump's obviously funneling fucking money from these projects, isn't he? He's obviously funneling it.
and one thing, do realize that I don't take this lightly, but I hope he gets it. I wouldn't wish that on almost nobody. But if he stops that research, I fucking hope he gets it.
What? RFK?
You're talking about cancer?
Yeah, Trump needs to should get it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jasper.
It cancer.
I just
Like for fuck's sake, man. He's basically killing people. Oh wait, wasn't he also doing that with COVID? Oh, and wait, isn't he not doing that with the bird flu? Oh wait, did he not say that?
Yeah, we're not
if-
going to know about how virulent it is until it escapes the United States and starts terrorizing the rest of the world. And by the way, everybody, remember when Trump accused China of fighting it? I guess, yeah, we got to look forward to that shit. The Prime Minister of Denmark now believes Trump is absolutely serious about taking Greenland by force.
Yeah,
So, folks,
That's an ally.
I know. I mean, whole NATO would war against
Yeah.
him,
Well, not
and
just NATO.
probably
It'll actually be countries. He's actually, you know, he's war postulating, and Trump isn't that fucking stupid.
He might not be as
I
stupid,
think he.
but he may be that bold.
I think he's
And-
just diverting. He's up to something in the background. That
That
So he should
Oh, I know.
divert.
It is basically giving all the taxpayer money to the oligarchs. That's part of it. For sure, it's part of it. I do think in the back of his sick, twisted little mind, he's thinking about his legacy, and very few presidents have expanded U.S. territory. And he's got Norman Vincent Peale as his religious teacher, which is the power of positive thinking. Just say it, claim it, grab it, and whatever you say will come true despite the fact that reality doesn't give a shit. So that's why he's an expert in everything, because he just tells himself he is, and evidently it makes it so, even though it's not.
Mhm.
That's a little bit about his history.
Pay attention to our reality of the things that are here. That haven't been paid attention to because they're spectacular. I don't discount that. But everything that I'm finding is so spectacular that
it's almost like it's so spectacular and real. And no, by the way, folks, you can be assured that at least 60 to 70% of enlisted troops and officers would tell Donald Trump to go fuck himself if he wanted to invade Greenland. Hi, Dave.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Hey, Dave.
I haven't had any
great.
stupid today, so I stopped in for a dose. So I hope you can help me out.
Hey, Dave.
Oh, yeah, we got Roger. He's got enough stupid for the world.
All right.
He's stupider than me.
we've missed everything in life. Literally everything. Even like they won't allow me to talk about accelerating light.
Accelerate
You can't
light.
accelerate light. Yes, you can't. You can
No, yeah.
decelerate it. You can have it move slower through a medium, but once you're in a vacuum, it's
Well, it's a constant,
Shut.
isn't it? It's simple as that.
yeah. Roger never fails to disappoint. I
Oh, no.
mean, he's entertaining. And I mean, he has a dosimeter right there. I mean, I used to have one of them.
Because it's too much for
It's a diagonal counter, a dosimeter, or a centimeter. I don't know what, but it tells you how much
the
radiation.
big experts. This is fission, fusion, and nuclear subatomic explosion. It's creating reverse EMF where they
He's pointing a
What
laser pointer at his camera.
What is reverse EMF? Is that a thing?
Reverse EMF. I don't think there's such thing because reverse electromagnetic frequencies would just be
Yeah.
an electromagnetic frequency. The waves might cancel each other out, and you might be talking about interference patterns, but not reverse EMF.
They say, yes, they can see light going backwards, so as we can reverse time. No, it's bouncing backwards. And it's going forward, so it's just bouncing, so it's going both directions at the same time. Big article, oh, we've seen it. Well, so have I. There it is right there. And it's because we accelerated the light here. And this is, if you can see those, reverse electromotive force. It's because it's a ba-boom. It's the only reason it's going this way is because it's going that way.
Electromotive force? What?
Oh, that is from the electric universe too, where they don't think gravity exists and it's all electromagnetic.
Oh, and Tank Girl, if you like the voice so much, you should come and watch Saturday Night at the Atheist on a Saturday. It's always a lot of fun. And a lot of Dave voice.
We had a great time Saturday, lots of laughs, and we had over 300 people joining us. So the more the merrier. Come join us on every Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, Brainless.
And I always post it in Slim's Discord, so don't tell me you didn't know about it.
Appreciated very much.
There has only been 2 DSA streams that have gotten more than 300. One we were making fun of Robin Bollock, and the other was we were making fun of Top Cool. And we have to do some of those again. I mean,
Robin
right
is good
now
material.
It's depressing.
Yes. I did when I was on with Punk Apostate. When I was on with Punk Apostate, we covered Robin. It was a lot of fun. Robin, who is married to Robin, Mr. and Mrs. Robin.
And their last name is Robinson?
No, both their first names are Robin. What are the odds of two people getting married, both first named Robin, one a male and one a female? That's
Yeah.
those are long odds.
But clearly not zero.
Clearly not zero. Nope.
Sorry.
I bet my
let's hear some more
internet
stupid.
is staying. Shit. I have a video of Robin doing something absolutely horrible, but I don't have it
It
on
should be
this-
going this way like everybody else is. And the only reason you can see these is because of the reverse concussion against them. Normally you don't see light. The only reason you see this one is it's being accelerated to the Venturi. And then the only reason you see these is because of the enormous amount of energy release. We should be able to get free energy. And this is, it's very depressing and very frustrating that all of this stuff I have shown, even though it's as spectacular as it is, it's just what they show at Fermilab. It's the same particles. We accelerated the light. If we can get free energy, that's just, and also we just have missed everything about our reality in the past. These things were not silly. These things were petrified in the manner that Ovid talked about. They did it by the gods that were here, did it for their amusement. And they made insane things just for their own amusement. They said they decorated their palaces with people that they turned into stone by means of violence, often. That person looked pretty happy getting turned into stone. I don't know.
Well,
How does violence
It
turn
is.
you into
I'm
stone?
telling you, it's crazy. Even like this.
I've never met anyone who turns someone to stone. They're always violent. I've never met a non-violent fucking human stone turner in my life.
Yeah, I don't follow the how do you violent makes you turn to stone. I missed that somewhere.
Dave,
I mean, I've
Dave,
heard beat to a pulp, but never beat to a stone. You know.
Your question is already starting wrong. You should have started with, how do you turn a human to stone? You leave that violent out of it. How do you turn a human to stone?
Right. Yeah. Good point. Good point, Brainless.
Hey, man.
You do all right for not having a brain. You know that?
And my microchips to get the job done.
By accelerating light, probably.
By getting
got-
light inside of your body.
Well, you know the answer from Saturday's show. You just have to think it, and it will be.
No, as I said, I disproved that today. I was doing dishes. I had my Spotify on random, and I tried to manifest that a certain song would be next, and it didn't happen. Well, I had it playing over an hour, so no, it's debunked. I fucking debunked it.
But we'll have to drop Wayne an email and let him know that you tested it and it failed.
And he's
Well, I
probably
mean,
gonna say,
the
"You manifest-
ideas came from. I mean, the ideas, well, they came from two places. The Bible and Norman Vincent Peale, the idea that all you have to do, and a bunch of the other American evangelical shysters from the Word of Faith movement, and you can just name it and claim it, just say it and it will happen. You get your belief hard enough, but no, that doesn't work.
Or you need Medusa, right?
Oh,
Oh,
I think
yeah,
that's what
there's Medusa.
I think that's what Trump is going to be doing. He's going to manifest that Greenland belongs to America, and then he's just going to walk in there with military and say, "Look, yeah, no, I manifested. It's ours now. It's ours now."
Maybe they use the spell Petrificus Totalis. Petrified the human. I'm just wondering.
Oh,
I mean,
I'll have to go through my
This is-
spell book. I don't remember a stone spell, but maybe I missed it.
You see that? That's her heart leaking out. The gods made.
Oh,
You don't remember that from our days at Hogwarts?
Yeah.
Well, if it's turned to stone, then what's leaking?
Oh, that's blood.
These for
It's right. It's.
I know. I'm trying to think too hard. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think too hard on this.
Dave, have you heard
I
that,
know better.
You heard that saying you can't get blood from a stone? Well, fucking Roger
That's right.
can. And he
Roger
said
has.
the DNA.
their own.
Oh.
Made a
He's
little
got
puppy
bird
for
poop
her too.
DNA. He's got bird poop DNA. That's what he has.
Rodney and Gray here. Did you have that video from Demon Orbsy where he just drills through something into his hand and then collects the DNA?
that
That one was good.
Demon does a lot of good videos like that, making fun of the less fortunate, I'd say, like the less intelligent, less educated people on the Udemy tubes.
I don't know what else to say. That's her heart leaking out of her. That, for me, there is absolutely no question about that.
But
How does
is
it
it
leak from the
really, or
top?
is it an implant leaking?
Well,
I
it's
don't
granted
know.
it's leaking. Why would it leak from the top? Right? It would leak from the bottom.
Probably, yeah.
I wonder if Roger has a pet rock.
I
He is a
most
pet rock.
definitely. I love this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Roger. If your stain was coming out the back, then maybe you would have some. But it doesn't make any sense. The stain is being forced up out of the top.
Yeah. And
Right, her
yes,
heart
it
would
was
be right up
also a good video.
in here, and the blood is now soaking down. Red blood stays very, very fluidy, and you can see some little reddish, pinkish stuff there where it's coming out through the tissue. Somehow they had a way to make the adipose tissue instantly solid.
He said like red blood stays liquid quite long.
Yeah.
Has he ever cut himself? Has he ever had a scab or anything?
When I smashed my fucking face
No.
on the treadmill, I had to scrub that fucking thing because that shit had dried to fucking nonsense. I had all sorts of fucking cleaners on there. I still couldn't get the blood off it. Well, it did in the end, obviously. You had to use your fingernails and everything. Scratch it off. Fucking red blood stays fluid.
Yeah, blood stains and it congeals. And because of the way it congeals, it wants to stain. It's not solid. I mean, it's not liquid.
Because these people are posed just like, look at this guy. He's posed, and he was holding up a big clamshell like this, and he had, I think, like a trident, and this is his adipose tissue, solid as a rock, literally, and here's his tendon. Same as his everybody has got that same tendon, identical, and there's the red fleshy stuff underneath.
Yeah. And people cannot.
So
carve
we have to take.
stone. People can definitely not carve anything in stone.
Yeah, no. Oh boy.
This stuff into reality now and pay attention to it. You know, you can run, you can hide from reality, but I don't want to. Maybe you do. Every culture on the face of the planet talked about this as reality. They talked about gods, they talked about giants, they talked about dragons, they talked.
Yeah,
So?
they talk about a lot of shit. So what?
Yeah.
And
Snowback
like
is the lord of scrum and makes the sun and the moon black. And controls the day and night, I think, and the Lord of Spot.
Yeah, but also like
There.
at some point, like people thought that like you got sick from bad air, because the air was smelly, and then we found out it was not that, but it was the bacteria or viruses in that air.
Or God farted.
You mean it was Yersinia pestis, and it wasn't persons or any of the other shit they made up to murder people because he didn't know what was going on and he just made shit up and blamed people? It's bacteria. Wow.
Talked about the ancient flood. They talked about battles in the heavens. They talked about all the things that mud fossils supports and validates. This was not, they weren't just telling.
No, they're not.
And now we see the roots of the mud fossils, the dindles.
Oh, this is so fucking stupid.
Funny little stories to have a good time, make up things like we do now with, all of these, special effects things and galaxies going here and there. That's more realistic than the reality that we've been led to believe is reality. We missed everything, literally everything. I don't mean to shake your world, but if that doesn't shake your world, nothing ever will. All right, don't forget this out there.
Oh, I've had ladies shape my world. Never mind.
I had physiology class in high school, and I don't remember my world being shaken. It was neat to learn all the stuff, but how he associates that people didn't know about tendons and muscles a long time ago. It's like people have been hacking each other up for a long time. I think they saw what was inside.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Dave, did you deal with a 3-foot wide fingertip?
Yeah, 200 something.
Too much information. Too much information.
A 3-foot wide giant's fingertip.
If you took just my length and my fingertip and you just scale it up to my height, there was a fingertip that was about an inch. He's talking about 200 something foot tall giant.
Yeah.
And he scaled everything up. And then he was like, here's a hair follicle. And then fucking Newton's spy planes wouldn't be able to fly high enough to reach the guy's head. Well, whoever the fuck. But that's the scale of a human being or what he was talking about. Where the fingertip, where the follicle was.
Yeah, you've got a whole physics in biology problem where we can only get so big with our structure. So just blowing up our structure doesn't work. And I can give proof of it. Go to the Guinness Book of World Records and look up the world's tallest people. They're crippled and riddled with diseases.
Yeah,
they're in a wheelchair. It doesn't work. It doesn't
There's
work.
a gland behind the nose, isn't it? Behind the bridge of the nose that determines height. And most people are just of average height. But the only reason dinosaurs got so fucking big is because the planet was oxygen enriched back then. Now it's not.
Well, they had a different structure, right? Yeah, right brains. Yeah,
they have similar bones as birds do. Had some of them had hollow bones.
Oh, my response usually is they found big bones of other mammals, like an elephant or something like that. And if you look at some of these bones, they look similar because they're mammals, and it's a lot bigger than our bones are. So it must have been a huge human, leaving out there are other mammals with bigger bones. So that's usually my answer is, yeah, they found some big bones. They look similar to ours. And they must have been giant people. And it's perfectly reasonable to think that before they had any understanding of any science or anything.
Yeah, but Dave, the thing here is, this dude does not find any bones.
Well, you know, if you found a mammoth
He
leg
just
bone or
finds
something,
rocks.
yeah, right.
That's what you can
Roger.
say about the mammoth leg bone. I mean,
Well, a lot
yeah,
of the
you might
arguments is,
mistake it.
yeah, you know, that we really only started digging up fossils, you know, a couple hundred years ago, but that leaves out that there were weathered fossils that were sticking out of the ground here and there that people could have stumbled across a long time ago, and it would have freaked them out. Sure.
And that's probably where we got the story of dragons.
Yep. Well, and dragon stories all differ.
Yeah.
They're always different. Some are animals put together. Some are snakes. Some are the, you know, the flying version, like with the knights in shining armor.
Fire breathers.
Yeah, that's true. You get these legends from all over, but they aren't the same creature. They're completely different. And the ones that they piece together that are, you know, chimeras or whatever, that's just a pure imagination. They just took, you know, different parts of animals and stuck little wings on a lion's back or something. And yeah, that's also a dragon, but it's not the lizardy type flying thing that we think of with the knights in shining armor stories.
Yeah.
That little pad that sits at the end of the finger in my giant fingertip here.
And your
You
giant.
see the little pad sitting right there at the back? This is absolutely giant. And I mean, it's flawless. And the fingerprints and everything are right here. So I'm going to leave it at that for today. But we really are missing everything, really everything. And you got to start with dipole electron flood theory. Everything starts with
Dipole electron flood theory and biology.
I believe
Oh, Roger, Roger.
the only science he believes in is biology, I think. And everything else is also biology.
He's definitely dabbled in electronic universe theory, which is hyperbolic. But
dipole electron flood theory. And then, of course, all of this stuff, my DNA tests and all that, and the specimens, they're all here available to be looked into. And here it is. This is what you got to learn, is the dipole electron flood theory. This solves the problem of how did these things petrify? How did they become exceptionally preserved soft tissues? It's because of membranes, which is, I call it fascia-facilitated fossilization. This is all what you call fascia, but it's membranes. Let's just go with membranes. I don't care about fascia.
Commander, did you already look into that? I believe you also downloaded that paper, because that's his paper that he published.
Well,
I did. It's on the other computer. I can't start that one off right now.
I'm definitely not smart enough to really get into that, and like reading costs me too much energy. But like,
well, the dipole electron flow theory, not a flood theory. Flow theory is molecular electrons going from negative to positive, which is what they do and stuff. But it's something inside of a molecule. It's got nothing to do with what he's talking about.
Well, isn't a proton just about is in every atom, isn't it? You know, it's a positive charge,
right?
Rather than a neutron, which is
the protons. Yeah, protons really massive. I forget how many orders of magnitude bigger than a
subatomic
electron.
It says basically it's just how electrons in a polar molecule are not evenly distributed, leading to a directional flow based on the polarity. So it's just flowing, you know, which we know electrons, and that's how electricity works. It's why you need to ground yourself before you mess with electricity, you're going to get zotted, you know, stuff like that. We know how it flows, but I don't see how it makes giants.
Now,
That's not there.
Just-
Sorry.
It's
Roger
a
probably
coating
thinks
that
that protons are like 6 inches fucking in size.
Well, yeah, okay. If we know how men like to exaggerate, so I guess Roger excels at that.
That's why women can't parallel park, because we told them 8 inches is that big. So they're sort of I'm joking. I know women can parallel park. Go on, Roger, crack on.
keeps this
All right.
protected that's in there. That's what I'm talking about. And what causes that to work? Chemistry. And what is chemistry? Literally half-lives. Enzymes work with half-lives. When they break down molecules, they don't just split them in half. They go and they jiggle them around until they get where they want. And it's part of the program. Take 6 of these and 2 of these and 4 of these of the amino acids and jiggle and boom. All right, now we got one. Bring another one in. Boom. Oh, but it's they work. Well, let's see how fast enzymes do work. Okay, my friends, another day. Hard to believe what science is doing to us. Scientists are proposing a new human ancestor, extremely large brain, bigger than that of modern humans, be called Homo julienus. Digital reconstruction of the skulls can be seen above. They got little scraps. They got little scraps and pieces, and
the important thing is not necessarily brain size, but also brain to body ratio and how that brain is wired.
Yep.
Which is why it's saying
constructed it.
bird
Now we know
brain is
exactly what they
wrong.
did and what they ate and how they played games and everything else. Well, it's ridiculous. Skull fragments, teeth.
Finish what you were going to say, and I kind of ran over into the video.
I want to hear it.
All I said was bird brain is wrong because birds and the bird and the brain have the good body ratio to brain ratio. That's why birds are smart. So when you say someone is bird brained, trying to insinuate they are not intelligent is wrong.
Yeah,
I want to hear
And
it.
magpies are really smart. They'll remember people for 40 years if you fuck it up.
Yep.
Because ravens are magpies.
Quite smart.
No, ravens
I want to
and
hear his
magpies are both
Chewbacca
crows.
impression again. I want to hear his Chewbacca impression again.
Jaws. Found at a different site in China have led some researchers to believe they have found the remains of a previous unknown ancient human relative. Well, how about this? How about this? No toes. That's as close to human as you get, except it has the toes are inside.
No toes.
It's a rock. Roger.
It's a no-toes.
No toes.
Oh, yeah. The no-toes human.
No giants.
Well, that's basketball player sized foot. If it is a foot, well, it's not a foot. It's a rock. Or Roger.
If it is a foot, he says.
And that's a blood vessel there, that hole, obviously.
I will start the video again. I was just grabbing a file in case someone watches this video later, because there was a little bit of a private spat with someone.
It's got a tibia. It's got a fibia. It's even got its own soul. It's a soul man. What can I say? Maybe we'll call him Soul Man. I was going to call him.
I was going to.
Hey,
Mommy.
Philip.
Hey, Sue, mommy.
That's what
Hi,
I found.
Tsunami.
Hello, Samami.
That looks like a glove.
Hey, don't insult us.
I don't. It's not even a good looking rock for a foot. He could at least get something that's worn a little better. And that's just a terrible rock. That could be any. That
No
could be
toes.
anybody.
Yeah, you're right.
But this particular one, I think I call Soul Man. All right, so I think I either have shown you or will show you that there was giants here living along with regular people, because I can show you this in my own stuff. I have two different sized giants. I got about a 50-footer and I got about a 200-footer. This guy's got a 3-foot long fingertip. Where'd he go? Right there. That's 3 feet long. You do the math. From here to the very end out here is about 3 feet. This is a foot, 2 feet, about 2.5 feet wide, about 3 feet.
Where's the rest of the
And
giant,
Jasper?
Roger?
Jasper, stick around because you're from Germany and I'm going to need you as a witness
Come on.
for something.
That's the fingernail. It still has the fingertips on, the fingerprints on. I think I probably showed you this, but it's starting to get frustrating. I keep showing over and over and over. You show the same thing. Well, if somebody pay attention, I'll stop. It's the fingerprints. I took the blood right out where blood is absolutely dense in fingers, and I took blood, literally raw red blood, and sent it off. Excellent quality DNA sequence was obtained in a 36-inch sample. That was a big fingertip, and the lung, which I will show you in a minute. And they were Homo sapien mitochondrial B and D lobe regions. And this was a very sophisticated test, and nobody will do them anymore because the people that do them get assaulted by academia. This was 10 years ago.
I don't get assaulted by academia. If they get accused of taking advantage of the son by stealing his money, that's probably what it is, because they know you're foolish, son. And they're taking your money, and some of the college professors you've harassed have
I can't
probably
believe-
just said,
Go ahead.
encouraging him. And some of the college professors that he has bothered and harassed have shown the lab work, and they're like, what are you guys doing taking money from this embassy? They're not being harassed or attacked. Their professional conduct is being questioned because they know what they're doing is utter nonsense, and they're just taking your money, returning absolutely fuck all, because they know that all this testing is pointless. You've contaminated the samples, they know you have, and they're basically just bilking an idiot for money, and that's like a questionable business practice, especially in academia, where ethics
So I can't get a single person.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. You walk in with a rock and you say, will you test this for DNA and blood? They're going to tell you no, or they're going to, be, like you said, just ripping you off, taking your money, because nobody does that. Nobody does that.
To take. In the academia, they don't care. Absolutely don't care. It's the most devious system I have ever seen taking advantage of kids. So
professors
Roger.
basically encourage them not to get advantage against them on the mentality of the clip.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Roger. You walk in with a 3-foot
it
rock and say, this is a finger, and they're going to say, take your big ass rock out of here.
Yeah.
And my professor was like, so he walked in here with this obvious rock and he asked you to test it for DNA, and they sold him this really expensive test knowing, oh wow, you were taking his money and returning couple of things wrong with you. That
Exactly.
professor who did that actually cared about you.
You'll never get anywhere unless you get this piece of paper. Give us a whole batch of money, we'll give you a piece of paper. Make sure you say exactly what we tell you to say. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, because it is all wrong now, completely wrong. So unless you got that piece of paper, you go make some money.
Yeah, and
But if you don't say exactly what we tell you to say, we'll tell people you're stupid.
only Roger knows the truth. We all know that by now.
Well, that's what Steve Austin is known for. He's a creationist geologist, and that's what he does. He takes samples in for bogus testing that give you crazy results, and then he says, "See, it doesn't work." Well, yeah, because you're not doing it right. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or in his case, he knows what he's doing, and he's intentionally doing it wrong to get bad results.
Well, there's actually a forensic element to DNA, isn't there? To collecting it and
Yes, there is.
processing it, of course.
Yeah. And you see he's got his hand on his rock there. Well, you know what? They're going to find DNA on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to say, wow, it's probably human. Yeah. Yeah. Every time.
No shit, Sherlock.
Now,
drill
there's
drill
a
inside
really
of
old
it.
video.
Yeah.
There's a really old video by Mayim Scholars where I think it's like 5 or 6 years old, where he debunks a Holocaust denier. The Holocaust denier went to Auschwitz-Birkenau and without permission, number one, started taking samples from the walls at places he wasn't supposed to take samples. And the samples that he was taking, he wasn't taking like scrapings of the surface area of the wall. He was taking a hammer and a chisel and just taking huge chunks out of the wall and then grinding the entire sample up, thereby diluting the sample. So when there was no evidence of the particular poison, because the sample was holding so diluted, but Miles Powers pointed out that even though like that was a perfect way to sabotage the test, he didn't actually think the person was competent enough to realize that. But it still was an invalid test, and Roger just does invalid tests. And they take his money.
So give us the money, say exactly what we tell you to say, and we'll give you the piece of paper. And your parents come down and say, you got to go to school. You got to go to school to get that piece of paper. They're leading the kids astray everywhere.
Roger, if you do watch us, and I know there's been times we have talked about stuff, and then all of a sudden you start making videos about it. So you probably see that someone's used your content and you've probably just paying attention to us. Roger, remember what I just said about the idiot Holocaust denier rather than scraping the surface of the wall? He took a giant ass sample the size of a brick and then ground it up and then tried to find trace amounts of a chemical that would be there very small amounts if he did the test right, but it was diluted by all the other set. What happened?
If Roger is watching this, I'd like to reiterate what is.
I hope Brainless is okay.
Yeah, he is. I'd like to reiterate what his parents said as a child. Roger, you got to go to school. You got to go to school.
Well, I don't see how your diploma from going to school is the same as test results. It's just a piece of paper. It's like, yeah, but it matters what's on the paper, Roger.
And Brainless, if you thought I was putting you in legal jeopardy by talking about that, I'm not, because I was referring to the denier as an idiot and did everything well. And everything he did was illegal and his results were valid. His Brainless lives in benevolence. I was just using that as an example of an idiot who didn't know how to test, but I'll put a link to the Minds Power video. I hope everything's okay, dude.
You may have had a power cut or something. You don't know. Now, Brainless isn't fucking worried about stuff like that. Of course he isn't.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Glitch in the Matrix.
we lost the feed, and my internet at the hotel is not actually fast enough for me to. I don't think it's fast enough for me to reliably show a video. Maybe like a few clips. Yeah, there's someone who's probably going to be watching. If not, I'll give them the timestamp that we were having a private argument. And I haven't said there. But they were getting a little bit naive as far as all their wishful thinking about stuff. So I'm going to play a really flat short video. And then I'm going to go to an Adam Mothman. Not him. Is it enough? Whatever. Look, it is. I need to I can't piece that. So I'm going to play this. And then I'm going to go to pull that video up. Do you see this? Now turn around and look. That is unmistakable. Right? So, if you did that in Germany, right, Jasper, you'd go to jail. Jasper, can you respond? If that was done in Germany, you go immediately to jail. They have years anti-Nazi laws. I hope Jasper's still here.
Yeah, but we know Elon Musk is a racist. We know that. He's an extremist. He's reaching out to all. I don't know what his goal is, but he's reaching out to many countries in the world to the far right, and he's just trying to stir up shit for some reason. But
he's doing it for Russia. Russia wants all the European nations to only give a crap about themselves and to not stick together. Because as a whole, even without the United States. Yeah, this is Jasper's answer to my question. That if that was done in Germany, and it wasn't basically someone at a movie set making a movie, historical documentary, and they were a paid actor, and the movie was anti-Nazi, that person would wind up in prison. They're very strict laws that say never again. There's brainless. Okay, here's a video.
It came up. He was playing Sniper and Wife. So
okay. If you want to come back in, you can. I will let you in. I don't know why.
On today, because not only was he acting incredibly bizarre during Trump's inaugural ceremony.
And we've already established that he's working to destabilize all the governments of Europe, because by themselves, they can't stand up to Russia. And either they can.
Germany and Europe. Elon Musk said the other day, we made America great again by electing the far right. He says, it's time to make Europe great again. So,
and we're not talking love thy neighbor Christians. We're talking about people who are Christians because of their race and their culture. And they can't accept anyone outside of their race or their culture. And let me try to... He was basically endorsing the AFD, which is basically what amounts to repurposing old slogans.
It's not just some awkward moment to brush off.
And the just like the standards of how we need to twist ourselves to find the innocent and to try to make everything that the side we may or may not like either demonized or and try to make excuses for it. So it was late November, early December 2011. That was the last time legislation to take God off the money was introduced. It was only introduced when Republicans controlled the House. And it was only introduced to cause conflict and controversy and to convince Christians that their religion was at threat. So last time it was introduced, only 3% voted to take God off the money. Obama said he would veto it. The preachers on TV claimed the vote was close. Many preachers in the public claimed the vote was close. They either never bothered to check, which is a lack of due diligence. They outright knew it was only 3% in either house and beyond. No, I got up at the poll deck and I said, let me read the numbers of godless liberals who voted to take God off their money. And the preacher was like, sure. And then I read the 3 senators. And then I said, the numbers in the House are very short. You want me to read those too? And the preacher was like, getting fucked down from there. Because I was bursting his bubble. I was killing his narrative with the truth. Now, it's 3% in either house, but yet the preacher is reporting it. The legislation almost succeeded, and they're reporting that Obama wanted it when Obama said he'd veto it. I mean, let's look at the standards of judgment. We're basically saying our Democrats
Was intentional-
guilty regardless of or something just outright.
This is your alpha male? The dude
Well-
who's roaring like a
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
he's a
basically what I
fucking
showed with
alpha.
him.
Is
This
Elon
is
Musk.
not just a still. This is not just a still. It needs full video of it decade. Because like they've shown pictures of Democrats with their hand raised with a still. But this is obviously not an innocent, I have been waving my hand. This is
If you
old
com-
head
if you put
Nazi,
this-
and he's helping the far right.
If you put this next to a video of Adolf himself, yeah, they do it exactly the same. If you want, I can pull it
This
up.
is not people being.
I've seen that
This
split
is not
screen
people
brainless.
being.
Yeah, that's fucking.
You can overlay it; it would match right up. Yep.
Yeah.
This is not atheists and liberals being mean. And if you're wondering why the New York Times said what it said and the ADL said what it said, it's because the New York Times has no fucking vote. And the ADL is losing its vote because they're afraid of Trump and the intimidation because he can prove their operating licenses. He can't pull my operating license. I don't have one. Quite simply put, I don't give a fuck. And he can't pull people's licenses outside the United States. He can throw them to prison if he wants, but I have to be inside America for that to happen. That he throws me in prison, it only proves my point. And as Alexander Hamilton said, a nation which would before disgrace the danger is prepared for master and deserves one. And you know, when I'm thinking about not wanting to be in America, not necessarily, I love America. I really do. I'm not thinking about even personal contact. I'm thinking about basic wave of thought and being bullied and disgraced and harassed and lied to in a manner where someone can say, sure, this isn't a Hitler salute. He's just giving his heart out. That's a form of deep respect that says these people do not have any respect for me. They don't view me as a human being. And it's a power move.
They don't even
and it's like
respect
one
their
of
own
the
fucking voters. They don't respect anyone. Not even each other, because Elon Musk has been kicked out of the White House now, hasn't he? He's been moved to offices down the road.
Oh yeah. Speaking of the White House,
yeah.
Did you know? Did you hear the question they asked the new first lady? They asked her, "Do you get your asshole bleached?" She replied, "No, he gets spray tanned."
So they don't even respect each other inside the family. And this is one of the things that causes little old ladies who say to heavily armed Russian soldiers, here are some sunflowers. Put them in your pockets so that when you die, you will spread sunflowers. The Ukrainians that had almost a century of being gaslit and lied to and treated like crap by Russians. And all at least most of them, are fit to be tied to live through that again. And they would rather die on their feet than live on their knees. And it is really something when I've had to use speeches from Ronald Reagan to try to grow a spine in my conservative coworkers who were afraid of Russia and talking about, we don't want World War III. Well, you've got an idiot threatening to invade our allies. And granted, he's basically going to have 2/3 to 70% of the enlisted men in officer corps as he tries it, probably time to go suck himself. Yeah, he could probably take an island with 30,000 people with what's left, but just wait until the rest of NATO takes it back and then comes and liberates America for us.
Yeah, and also, just like, oh no, he was giving his heart out. No, the way he gives his heart out is like this. That's him giving his heart out.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, like they're totally different things.
That out. And then there's the dozens of people that show support for Elon by showing them that they're Nazis themselves because they post themselves on social media doing Nazi salutes.
Well, and Trump and Elon, I always knew were never going to get along.
No,
they both have too big egos. Don't go together. Yeah, swollen heads to ever get along. So that was doomed from the start.
Yeah.
I think Elon will eventually disappear.
There's reasons why we don't like. There's reasons why we don't like Trump. It's not just because he's a Republican. It's because he's an evil man who, well, quite simply put, if he was on the other side of the aisle, he would never be put up with. So I'm just going to end this segment with quoting from Friedrich Nietzsche's book, The Antichrist. It was a book where Hitler got a bunch of his rotten ideas. What is good power, all that proceeds from power, power in itself in man, the will to power, the feeling that resistance has been overcome. What is bad? All that proceeds from weakness. Not peace at any price, but war, not virtue, but efficiency. The first order of their humanity, I'm talking about Nietzsche, is that the weak ought even be helped to die. What's more harmful than any vice? Practical sympathy for the botched and the weak Christianity. And the book, The Antichrist, is unlike any other book in probably the history of all literature, because it properly identifies the highest ideals of Christian social ethics, and then wrecked all other really, really hard. And when it was written, most of the Christians were actually more politically aligned with the things Bernie Sanders wants than what the Republican Party currently wants. So when I'm saying this, I was saying this in number one, concern for my neighbors. Number two, believe it or not, it's in my interest and the interest of every atheist and agnostic on the panel that if there's going to be a Christianity in North America, it not be evil and toxic and not lead to a genocide.
Yep.
And that's basically where I'm coming from. So if you do see this, I'm not trying to be just mean. I'm not peddling false information. The New York Times is scared they're going to have their license pulled if they say bad things about Trump. The ADL is scared. And as someone with a Jewish family history, I can just look at the man and I can say, your psychology concerns me. So that's the end of my talking to someone who shall remain anonymous, but it was related to about child conversation. So next week, I probably have Baking Peter set up. I might do a debunking of propaganda stream in the week. But I have to wait another 3 or 4 days to find out whether or not that money that was stolen from me will be restored. And then depending upon how much money we have, when all is said and done, will be dependent upon whether or not we make it to us.
Well, when you
But
get there,
I'm hoping we will have
I
enough
can
money.
either.
You?
All right. When you get there, say hi to the Wizard of Oz.
Well, you know I'm talking about nothing. And
Yeah, I know. But when you say Oz, I think of the Wizard of Oz. I'm just stupid in that way, you know?
you're a good friend. So, anyway, everyone have a good night. And next weekend, we're going to be back with some week. So we stuff to laugh at. Because in this world, if you don't laugh, you cry. And everyone stand up for yourself. And I think I want to go out on a national
I want to add
anthem.
one thing to that. Yes, stand up for yourself, but also stand up for the ones that cannot stand up for themselves. I think that's even more important.
And everyone, please pay attention to these lyrics, especially Americans, because we're going to need some inspiration from my Ukrainian brothers and sisters on how to handle and resist the rat bastard. Let's just call it the same nickname Ukrainians had for Yanukovych. I love it.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
And what that means is America's glory has not faded. Rather than look at the challenges with despair, we need to look at it as a great opportunity to show our mettle. And if necessary, if it takes people to lay down their lives for freedom, then that's what it will take. And we need to remember that we have been through tough times before. We have a strong tradition of not taking bullshit. And by the way, Trump is a Russian asset, and we don't want Vladimir to run country by proxy through an orange war on. So that's the lesson of how we need to interpret that soul.
Absolutely.
And fuck Donald Trump. What?
Fuck Donald Trump.
I wish I had that song to go out on, but good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.